You think your life will change when you get lucky, when the timing is right, when motivation strikes hard enough to move you. But the truth is, none of that will change anything. You are not waiting for a breakthrough, you are waiting for discipline. And no one is coming to give it to you. That is your job. And it starts with the mind. Right now you are carrying beliefs that have been quietly shaping your behavior every single day, stories you did not choose, habits you never questioned, reactions that do not belong to the person you want to become, you want to change. But wanting is not enough, you need rewiring. And the ancient Stoics knew exactly how to do that, not through hype, not through comfort, but through daily fire, daily practice, daily confrontation with reality. And if you follow their path with intensity for the next 30 days, your mind will not be the same, you will not be the same. This is not self-help, this is self-discipline. It is not about becoming someone new, it is about becoming someone ancient, someone grounded, someone strong. While the world spins out of control, the Stoics were not soft philosophers, they were warriors of the mind, leaders in chaos, prisoners who found peace, emperors who ruled themselves first before anyone else. They did not just survive pressure, they trained for it every day. And what they left behind was a system, a way of thinking that strips away weakness and builds mental armor from the inside out. These are not empty rituals, these are battle-tested practices that sharpen your thoughts, clarify your purpose, and forge the kind of person who walks into a storm with stillness and leaves with strength. What follows is not for the passive or the comfortable, it is for the serious, for the hungry, for the one ready to stop being controlled by emotion and start leading their own life. Starting today, for 30 days, you will practice like a Stoic. You will do what they did, not just read it, not just admire it, but live it. And if you do this with honesty, your mind will change, you will stop reacting, you will stop chasing, you will stop fearing, you will begin thinking with clarity, moving with purpose, choosing discomfort over weakness, stillness over noise, strength over approval. This is how the rewiring begins. This is how you take back your life. These are the daily Stoic practices that will rewire your mind in 30 days. Now let us begin. Practice 1. Daily morning premeditation. Train before the battle begins. The battle of your life does not begin when you walk into your job or open your messages or face your challenges. It begins the moment you wake up, that first minute of the day, when your mind is soft, when your habits begin to kick in, when the world starts calling for your attention. That is the battlefield. And if you are not training before it begins, you have already lost before the first shot is fired. The Stoics knew this, which is why their days never started by accident. They began with intention. They began with premeditation, not of goals or dreams, but of reality and hardship and resistance. They called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. And it is the first daily practice to rewire your mind for unshakable strength. Every morning you sit quietly before the world can touch you, and you rehearse the challenges you will face today. You do not pray for peace, you train for war. You tell yourself the truth. Today I may face disrespect, today someone will test my patience, today I will be tired and want to quit, today I may fail. And when those moments come, I will remain firm. I will respond, not from fear, not from emotion, not from weakness, but from reason and clarity and calm. That is your first armor. The Stoic does not seek a smooth day, he seeks a strong response. The weak man hopes nothing goes wrong. The Stoic trains for when it does. And this changes everything, because now when stress appears, you are not caught off guard, you expect it. When someone offends you, you remember that you trained for it this morning. When the day pushes you, you do not collapse, you respond with the mind you built before the world even opened its mouth. Morning premeditation rewires your brain to expect resistance and meet it with preparation, not panic. It also reminds you that nothing is personal, that every challenge is a chance to act with virtue, that every irritation is a mirror showing you where you need more control. You do not complain, you adjust, you do not fear, you anticipate. This practice takes 5 minutes, and it will change your entire day. Sit alone in the morning, before the phone, before the news, before the noise, and list the things that will likely happen that would normally shake you. Then choose your response, choose it in advance. This is how you stop being reactive and start being intentional. Your brain begins to wire itself for composure, for mental readiness, for inner strength. And after a few weeks, you will feel the change, you will see the difference, you will walk through Your day like someone who has already been here, like a master of time, not a victim of mood. The world may come at you, but you will not flinch because you already saw it coming, and you already chose your posture. This is practice one. Train before the battle begins. Premeditate the hard, so you are not broken by it. Anticipate the storm, so you can walk through it in silence like a Stoic. Practice 2. Voluntary discomfort. Train the body to liberate the mind. Comfort is a drug, and most people are addicted to it. They seek warmth before strength, ease before truth, pleasure before purpose, and then they wonder why they feel soft, why they break under pressure, why they never become the version of themselves they respect. The Stoics saw comfort not as a reward, but as a trap. They understood something the modern world tries to ignore, that the path to freedom is paved in discomfort, but not the kind that life throws at you, the kind you choose deliberately. Stoically daily, this is what Seneca called voluntary discomfort. He practiced sleeping on the floor, going without food, wearing rough clothes, not because he was poor, but because he refused to be owned by comfort. He was rich and powerful, but he trained his mind like a soldier, so that if life ever stripped everything from him, he would not be shaken. And that is what you must do too. You must build your strength before life tests it. You must train in pain while others numb themselves. You must prove every morning that comfort does not rule you, because if it does, then anything that disrupts it will own you. This practice is simple, but it will change you every day. Choose one act of voluntary discomfort, one moment where you say no to softness and yes to strength. Take a cold shower, walk in the morning without a jacket, delay your first meal, sit in silence without distraction, do push-ups when your mind wants stillness, sleep with no pillow. Do the thing your body resists, not to punish yourself, but to purify yourself, because each act of chosen hardship rewires your mind for resilience. You are telling yourself, I can endure what I do not like. I can hold the line when it burns. I am not a slave to sensation or comfort or craving. This is what separates the Stoic from the herd. The herd runs toward whatever feels good. The Stoic runs toward whatever makes him better. You do not need hours. You do not need to suffer endlessly. You need 5 minutes a day of facing down a weakness and walking through it. You will feel it in your spine. When you do it, you will feel the voice that says, just quit, just relax, just wait, just give in. And you will crush that voice and walk forward anyway. That is where discipline is born, not in theories, not in books, not in good intentions, but in daily uncomfortable actions that shape the way you think. Because the body trains the mind. The moment you do what is hard on purpose, your brain begins to shift. You become less reactive, less soft, less attached to pleasure. You become more aware, more steady, more dangerous, not in violence, but in calm. And that calm makes you free. This is why the Stoics trained every day. This is why you must too. Because life will not warn you when it gets hard. The test will come. And the only way to pass is to be ready. Train now. Break the need for comfort. Now liberate your mind through the body. Now this is how you forge mental steel, one uncomfortable moment at a time. Practice 3. Daily journaling. Confront your inner world before it controls you. The most dangerous thing in your life is not what happens to you. It is how you think about what happens to you. It is the story you tell yourself. It is the emotion you let go unchecked. It is the fear you avoid facing. And the Stoics knew that if you do not confront your inner world daily, it will quietly control your actions, your decisions, and your destiny. That is why they wrote every day, not for others, not to entertain, not to impress, but to examine their thoughts like a warrior sharpening his blade. Every morning Marcus Aurelius sat with his own mind and questioned it. He challenged his assumptions. He reminded himself of what mattered. He pulled out the weeds before they could grow into problems. And that is what you must do if you want to rewire your mind. You cannot just act differently, you must think differently. And you cannot think differently until you see clearly what is really going on inside you. This is where journaling becomes not a habit, but a weapon, a daily ritual of clarity. Before confusion creeps in your journal is not for poetry, it is for honesty. You sit with yourself and you ask, what am I avoiding? What am I pretending not to feel? Where did I react yesterday instead of responding? Where did I chase approval instead of living by my principles? These questions sting because they are meant to, they reveal what is real. And when you write down the truth with no filters, no decoration, no excuses, you begin to see Clearly again you realize that your anger is fear in disguise, that your laziness is not a flaw, but a symptom, that your distractions are not innocent, they are escape. And when you see it, you can begin to change it. This practice takes 10 minutes a day, but it will save you years of wasted time, because most people live their whole lives never seeing themselves clearly. They are full of stories, full of drama, full of noise, and they wonder why they cannot find peace. The Stoic journals to clear the fog, to remove the lies, to meet the day as a man who is aware of his own patterns and is no longer ruled by them. Some days you will write a paragraph, some days you will write a page. It does not matter. The point is not how much you write, but how honestly you look. And every time you write, you separate yourself from the storm of emotion. You see the trigger before it becomes a reaction. You see the weakness before it becomes a pattern. You see the story before it becomes your identity. This is not a habit for the weak, because seeing the truth hurts at first, but it heals you, it humbles you, it builds you, and over time your mind begins to rewire itself. You start to think before you speak. You start to pause before you react. You start to choose what serves you, not what soothes you. This is the real work, not the public performance, but the private confrontation. This is how Marcus ruled an empire and still found peace, because he ruled himself first. Sit with yourself every morning. Write the truth, not to feel good, but to become good. This is Stoic journaling, and it will change your life. The truth is simple. If you do not rewire your mind, you will repeat your mistakes. You will stay stuck in the same habits, make the same excuses, react the same way, and call it fate. But you know better now. You have seen the Stoic path and what it demands from you and what it gives in return. These daily practices are not just rituals. They are a system of personal transformation, forged in the heat of history and tested in the chaos of life. They were used by emperors, slaves, soldiers, and scholars, and now they are in your hands. What you do with them is the only thing that matters. Morning premeditation, to meet the day before it meets you. Voluntary discomfort, to train your will like a weapon. Daily journaling, to clear the fog and face your patterns. Evening reflection, to hold yourself accountable. These are not things you try, these are things you live. You do not need motivation, you need structure. You do not need inspiration, you need discipline. And discipline is not built in a moment, it is built in daily practice. 30 days from now, your mind will not be the same. If you commit fully, you will notice it in the way you respond to stress, in the calm you carry into conversations, in the strength you feel when temptation shows up and you let it pass. You will see it in your posture, your decisions, your focus, and others will feel it too. You will become one of those rare people who are unmoved by the noise, because they are rooted in their code. People will ask what changed, and you will know it was not luck, it was not chance, it was work, inner work, quiet work, Stoic work. So here is your challenge. Begin today, not tomorrow, not next week. Print the practices, write them down, put them where you will see them every morning, repeat them every night, reflect on them, and do it without excuse, without waiting for the perfect mood, because the perfect moment never comes, only decisions do. And if this message resonated with you, if you are ready to take your life back, not through emotion, but through reason, then share this with someone else who needs to hear it. Someone you care about, someone who is stuck in the loop of their own thoughts and does not know there is another way. Subscribe if you want to keep training with the Stoics. Share it if you want to spread ancient power in a noisy world. And remind yourself daily, the mind you want is not found, it is forged. Practice like a Stoic, rewire your mind, or repeat your mistakes. The choice is yours.